All right, this is a practice lecture, but also we're going to review some actual stuff that we've talked about in class. Um, and to do that, we're going to go to the last thing we talked about in class, which was what we called the money market. Now, if you remember, the money market is how we determine where the interest rate should be and how much money is going to be in the economy. If we remember, the money supply is vertical because at any one point in time in the economy, there is only so much cash. If you remember, there's only one group of people that can control how much money is in the economy, and that is the Fed, National Bank of the United States. The demand for money is how much money people wish to carry in the form of M1 money. So how much money do people want immediate access to? If we remember, there's only one thing that can shift the money supply, and that's the Fed. They have three tools for doing it. They can change the discount rate, which is the interest rate that the Fed charges banks to borrow money from them. They can change the reserve requirement, which is the percentage of money that banks are required to hold in their vaults based on how many deposits are at their bank. And the last one is what we call open market operations. The bank wants to expand, they buy bonds. When they buy bonds, they're putting money into other banks, and banks can then therefore loan out money, or they can sell bonds. When the Fed sells bonds, they're taking money out of the system and therefore decreasing the money supply. We talked about things that shift the demand for money. In general, these have to be very obvious. The problem must be very obvious, but in general, we're talking about ease of access. Is it easier or harder to get money? Or the state of the economy. So for instance, the podcast I had you listen to for last week's homework mentions that people are hoarding cash in the midst of the ongoing economic crash due to the coronavirus. People are hoarding cash, meaning they're taking money out of the stock market. They're actually hoarding cash. They're holding on to more money. Or in other words, they are demanding more money. When they demand more money, this whole curve shifts right. Awesome. This whole curve shifts right. The interest rate used to be here. Now the nominal interest rate has shifted to here. So the nominal interest rate has increased. And this is a use of what we call the money market. And this is an example of how it can be shifted.